Hi everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Football Podcast, where the beautiful game never stops. As always, you're listening to your host Raheel. Thought I'd give you guys a quick recap on the game between Liverpool and Manchester United that took place today. Liverpool finished 4-0 against Man United. They won the game by 4-0. Goals from Diaz in the 5th minute, Salah 22nd, and in the 85th, and Mane in the 68th. All clinical. Man United nowhere to be seen today, as we all expected. And I'm guessing most Man United fans who were going to that game or who were going to watch that game on the TV had a feeling that we're not going to win this game today. What's the point in playing? It's going to be dreadful. And that's exactly what Man United were today. Nobody putting a foot in, a challenge in. Just boys against men, you could basically say. You know, Bruno Fernandes just like whining and complaining and not putting a foot in or a tackle in. Rashford neither did the same. Lingard, when he came on when Pogba was injured in the first 5 minutes of the game, not much was happening for Man United. It was all a mess, horrible. I would say there was a little spell for Man United towards into the second half, like midway, where Sancho was running past people, taking it on against Van Dijk. Trent, Matip, Rashford, they just weren't clinical enough. You know, the players weren't on the same hymn sheet, same rhythm. You know, the running off the ball was poor. You know, Bruno Fernandes, it was just too easy to win the ball back from a Liverpool's point of view. Just 2 or 3 players on one player and just win it back, hoof it upfield. There was a chance where Rashford could have got a goal back, but the referee waved his flag for offside. But when we saw the replay, he was onside. But when he shot, Alisson made the save. So, you know, if he would have scored from it, I think the VAR would have given it, and it would have been a different game. But unfortunately, he didn't take his chance, and you know, he fluffed his lines. And then Hannibal, a youngster who came on, as soon as he came on, Gary Neville said in commentary, "I'm proud of him." The fact that he was actually trying to put some sort of energy or life back into this team that weren't doing anything, you know, trying to put a tackle in, a rough tackle, trying to break somebody's legs, which we obviously didn't want to see. But from a United's point of view, that's what Gary Neville wanted to see. You know, someone who actually wanted to play for that badge. And, you know, we've seen a lot of youngsters who come through the academy. I mean, I think Rashford, when he first came onto the scene 5 years ago, was the exact same player like Hannibal. Alanga as well as a decent start to life at United, you know, past couple of weeks, months, doing well under Ragnick. Just the fact that you know, he was coming on and letting the older lads like, look, this is how you do it. I'm doing what you lot are supposed to be doing. It's unbelievable. It really is. It's been confirmed though that Erik ten Hag is going to be the next Manchester United manager. The announcement from Manchester United themselves and the other media outlets will make the announcement in the next few days. But honestly, people were saying it in commentary. A lot of Man United fans, including my brother, club's broken on and off the pitch. You know, Ten Hag will come into that club. Half of the players' contracts are ending this summer. You know, Matic just come out publicly and said, "I'm leaving in the summer." And people are like, why do you need to make that publicly? Just go, you know, leave when the time's right. Don't do it during our season where the dressing room will be disrupted. And I've said this to a lot of people. I just feel that the current Man United squad right now, it's not good enough to be in the top 4. Like, they've been in and around it for the past couple of seasons. They've finished in there, yeah. But they haven't got the quality or the depth to do well in the Champions League. I mean, past couple of years they've been in the Champions League, they've not gone past the quarter-final stages, and they've just not had the quality and the depth to make it to the semi-final and final Champions League. And people say United finished second last season, but I have the opinion of that season was such a unusual season from a football's perspective, because not one single fan was allowed inside a stadium. So if you can imagine Manchester United going to an Etihad or an Anfield, a Stamford Bridge, Emirates Stadium, even Ellen Road, you know, one of their rivals that they've had in their history. You go to these sort of places, these sort of grounds, and you're not feeling the pressure from their own home fans. it'd be like a friendly, and you can hear your teammates, you can hear the manager, and you can hear them say, pass it this way, pass it that way, hey, man on, you know, all that sort of thing. So people will be like, oh, but they still finished second. But, you know, when you go to Old Trafford now, the fans are not happy with what they're seeing. They're quiet, like, they give it their best, they chant in the first 2-3 minutes, and then the rest of the game, they're quiet. And, you know, when you're from a United player, you're in that ground, and you don't hear or see those fans, you can do your own thing, you know, there's not as much pressure on you. And we've seen it this season now. As soon as the fans are let back into the stadium, as soon as you know, fans are back at Old Trafford and all these tough grounds that I've mentioned, look what they're falling to. And you know, they were third or fourth, even second once in the league this season. But as soon as they got to the second half of the season, they just completely dropped. And some of these players, it just, you know, Roy mentioned it in the commentary as well in the studio. Kind of character, desire. Who can you look up to in that dressing room? You know, the captaincy's Maguire. So much pressure for a young guy like him who doesn't know what it's like to be a captain, how to lead by example. And every week we just see these funny videos, funny memes of him making mistakes, hitting his own teammates, going against his own teammates, being sloppy. That doesn't help a player's confidence at all. So it's a very, very toxic dressing room, it is. And as I said, when Ten Hag becomes the new manager of Manchester United, he's got a lot of work to do. I mean, a lot of work to do. Not just by getting rid of some of the players that don't want to be there, i.e., I mean, United's recruitment, they need to change as well. You know, from top to bottom, the players like Jadon Sancho, who's come in for 70 odd million, and they've been chasing him for the past 2-3 years, wanting his signature. Oh, everybody's been wanting him, and then they finally get him, and he's, you know, Ollie doesn't play him; he just sits him on the bench, and you're acting like you chased this guy for so many years, like he's been our top target in the transfer window, just for him to sit on the bench. I'm like, how is he going to improve? How can we see if he's improving or not when he's not even being picked in the starting 11 as much? You know, Rashford's getting more of the game time than him, which is ridiculous. And then you got Donny van de Beek, who's a talented midfielder. We've seen him, of course, and you would have hoped that Ollie brought him in to help McTominay and Fred because they needed depth, or they might need a different style in that midfield just to help. Again, same thing. Just brought him, sat him on the bench. If you don't like him in training, there's a big difference between training and a natural football game. You know, you don't feel pressure from an opponent. You don't feel the pressure from the fans, you know, wind and weather, all that stuff. So you can't just judge on what's going on in training and just assume that you're not going to do well in the main game. That's just ridiculous. So that club has to change from top to bottom, just like how Liverpool have changed from top to bottom. Ever since Klopp walked through the doors, as I mentioned, everything has changed, like the recruitment, the players that he's brought in. You know, Mane from Southampton, you know, Salah from Roma, Robertson from Hull, believe it or not, which is ridiculous. And paying 70 odd million for Van Dijk when a lot of people were laughing at that kind of money, thinking that's a lot of money for a centre-back, but it was worth every single penny, and it is. Bringing in a new keeper because they know Karius was a bit sloppy and wasn't safe enough. And it's not just what goes on the pitch and the recruitment. You look at behind the scenes as well, like Klopp's coaching staff, the drills that they do in the training ground and the cafeteria. Klopp must go there and say, okay, they're going to have this amount of food on this day, that amount of food on that day. They're going to have this thing on this day, and they're going to have that on that day. It's got it planned, and then it's probably speaking to the sports scientists like, how's the data? How are they? Are they improving physically? All this, etc. Are they quick, etc. That's what United need, and apparently Ten Hag is a strict guy. I hope he is, and only time will tell with Ragnick, Ten Hag. We'll see how he goes this summer in the transfer window, if he'll be backed. Then we'll have to see it from there. As Ralph said in his interview, it took Klopp 2 to 3 transfer windows to transform Liverpool into a top 4 side, and then another window to challenge for the league. Same thing can be done for United easily, of course, with the amount of money that they get. It's just, if the Glazers don't, then United fans know what needs to happen next. They know the Glazers needs to leave. They need to get somebody in there that actually cares about Manchester United Football Club. But it's going to be hard. But yeah, like I said, going into the game, a lot of people they expected Liverpool to win, especially what happened in the last fixture at Old Trafford, 5-0, 4-0 here. Just one-sided. It was just one-sided. It was so easy. It's just really shocking and weird just to see United side so deflated and not wanting to try and turn. How this club has become from one of the best teams in the world, in the country, to one of the worst in the Big Six. And some of these players don't even want to be here. They just want to leave and, see their contract out. How they got so poor in this, bringing in players that don't care about the club. It's just mind-boggling. It's unbelievable. And I think Pogba definitely wants to leave Manchester United. There's no doubt about that. With his agent coming out, to the media, like he's not happy, he wants this, he wants that, he's not going to sign a new deal. That's ridiculous. Your agent should never come out publicly, and it just causes more problems for your football club than it does for you. I remember, I think Gary Neville touched on it a year ago when this incident happened. Wayne Rooney wanted to leave Manchester United, and he made that announcement right before a Champions League game. Him and Giggsy went up to him like, you need to apologise to our club. That's bang out of order what you've done. It's completely wrong right before a big game. This club is has done so much for you, and you shouldn't treat it like this way. So same thing applies here with Pogba. He shouldn't have let his agent come out and say this, that, I want to leave, I'm not happy, I want to play my football somewhere else. And the amount of wages that he's on, people have to earn their wages, like Ronaldo and the Messis of this world. Salah and Mane, probably their wages, they've earned them because they deserve it. You get paid more because you've improved more, or you offer more than what another player offers you. And Pogba has not offered Man United anything since he's joined. Winning the Europa League Cup, that was it. But, falling out with Jose, everyone I think most people took Pogba's side and they weren't happy with Jose. Ever since then, under Ole, Ralph, he's not producing, he's not been himself, and he's been out with injuries. So it's not going well with Pogba. But I think if United can clinch this top 4 spot, it'll be massive for them, of course. It'll be huge for Ten Hag, because he does love the Champions League as well, as we've seen with Ajax taking them to the semi-final. But let's see how we can do on in the league. Let's see how we can do it with more competition around him, more talented, quality teams, managers, different atmosphere. Let's see if he can handle the 2 days a week, 2 games in 3 days. Let's see if he can cope with that. And, only time will tell. But everyone, thank you for listening. Appreciate it. It was a huge game for Liverpool, of course, as well. They're top of the league at this moment in time. City play tomorrow. This title race is amazing. Just can't decide a winner. And last time we had this sort of title race between Liverpool and City a couple of years back, City just edged it by a point. We could see a similar thing here this season as well. Liverpool are on for the quadruple, City are on for the double, just to win the league and the Champions League, whereas Liverpool are back the Carabao Cup. They're in the FA Cup final against Chelsea, Champions League semi-final against Villarreal, and the league title. So we'll see what happens. Anyway, thank you and see you later.